Hi.
Cool.
So, who are we?
We're Team Bruja Bros, and we are a team at Gameheads. Are primarily an all-female team, aside from our one very precious and skillful non-binary.
Who we love very, very dearly.
And I'm Marisa. I was the narrator. Well, not narrator. There's no narrating in the game. But I am was a story designer and the one of the artists on the team that finalized a lot of the animations. Yeah.
I'm Bae. I was game designer and project manager.
I'm Camila, and I was also an artist on our team this summer.
And I'm Rebecca. I'm the programmer, and also not here is our fifth member, Brittany, who was level and sound, I believe. Yeah.
So what's the art in progress, Marisa?
Huh?
What's the piece in progress?
Sorry. I am currently designing something like a poster that we can maybe use for later, or if there's any art to arise. So that way, in case we do need it in the future, it's just in the drafts, just in case.
Mm-hmm. So promo art.
Promo art, yes, exactly. You can never have enough art.
That's pretty sick. I don't have a good idea of what is being drawn yet, but I can make out 3 figures.
Yeah, I'm trying to the rough idea for this is just kind of putting the main character, the antagonist, and maybe 2 or 3 of the gods in the spotlight. That way, the audience can kind of familiarize with who's who and all. Yeah, very generic movie poster for now, but I may change it later.
Love it.
For a second, I thought someone was getting bonked on the head. That's what it looked like to me.
Bonk.
What I want, honestly.
Oh, we should also totally at some point make just colonizer zapping promo art. I think.
Oh, I got you.
Right?
I can
But that one specific frame from the animation that's
Yeah.
Yeah, I know which one you're talking about. The one where he's flat, kind of like a pancake.
Yeah, the Marge Simpson.
Oh my god, yes.
Your mom likes that one way too much or not enough. It's one of the two.
I mean,
oh my god, I would totally. Wow, I would love a sticker of just any of those frames of that animation. Honestly, the getting zapped one, right?
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Bone showing through one, great. The flying partial in the air one, great. Dead on the ground, great.
Great.
A whole series, honestly. A sticker pack, yeah.
Sticker pack, just a sequence of it, basically. Oh, goodness. Good gracious.
I think it's a plan. We could, fund Marisa's next, medical treatment or something through stickers alone,
I mean, you're not wrong, so I would not say no to it. Oh boy, I even have to reference my own art because it's been so long. Let's see here. I think she's around.
So, does anyone want to say what Camino actually is?
That's probably weird.
Anybody.
Someone do it because I can't draw and talk at the same time.
I can try.
Go for it, Bae.
Okay. Camino is a 2D side scroller game that challenges the player to. It's been too long, y'all.
Yeah. Camino is like as Bay was saying, like it's a 2D side scroller stealth game. So like as the player, your main objective is trying to like you play as a child, and who was enslaved, and you're trying to sneak around in like the sugarcane brush, trying to avoid getting captured by like Spanish colonizers.
Right. The premise 1500s era Cuba with the slave trade going on, and the whole story revolves around the Cuban mythology with the gods assisting the character in during their trials and trying to find their mother again. I don't think it counts as a community story, honestly, but it's more of like a mix of real life with supernatural elements to it.
Yeah, and you're
like
calling
magical
upon
realism in a sense.
You're calling upon the powers of the Orishas to try and go up against impossible odds, defeat or run away from as many colonizers as you can, all in an attempt to try and rescue your loved ones.
Yeah.
Ooh, why do you want to talk about who you're drawing right now?
I am drawing one of my father's gods, Oshun, who is the river goddess and sister to Yemaya. And, she's considered like a maiden god for, women, or maybe an individual who, leans more towards a female energy.
Mm.
And let's see here. An important fact about her. I'm not an expert, but that's what I grew up with hearing was where if the river and ocean meet, the water is considered sacred. And when I was little, my father used to whenever we went to the river, he would always try to find those conjoining rivers and always take jugs of them home so he can purify himself. Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah, so I'll just keep healing from the practice and all that stuff. It's it's a bit funny when you grow up with like practices that aren't really well known, and it's like you go to school as like a small child. Like I was in first grade, and my grandmother did a cleansing for me, which was like taking a chicken and dusting you with the chicken, and blowing smoke on you, to purify and cleanse, the grandchildren, and it's just like. The other first graders didn't understand that quite fully, and it's like, oh no, she does it all the time, and we left like offerings, chicken offerings for the gods, and they're like, huh? And then elementary school was a wild ride for me, growing up brown and with different practices.
It's even more wild when you rewind time a little bit from now, and you had Mari, myself, and Brittany working on a game about chickens.
The irony is really strong with that one.
The irony is strong with us.
Just, many cultures revolve around chickens. Yeah. It's so funny, but, they're very beloved. Of course.
So, I guess we know that Marisa, you were the one who originally came up with the idea for this game. Can you talk a little more about like what your vision for it was?
Honestly, I think I had this idea stewing ever since I joined Gameheads, and I just never had the chance to do this concept until now. And I think I pitched the idea too well to you guys because Damon, head of the program, just absolutely just jumped on board like right away. And it's like, I've been waiting for this moment. I'm like, I bet you have. With how much he always shows me like Yoruba art, and he's like, did you see this thing? Did you see this concept? I'm like, yes, Damon, for the third time I did. Thank you. Um, but yeah, I think the thing is that I pitched this idea way too well to you guys, and you guys are just like, let's do it, let's go. So nuts. And honestly, I think it was just I don't know if you call it an introspective story, but it was just a thing that is very much grounded in a well-known culture that I would know and be able to, you know, effectively enough talk about, I suppose.
Well, did you pitch it too well to us, or it's actually a good idea?
You know, I don't know. To be honest.
Come on, Marty, don't downplay it. It's a good idea.
Don't do it.
Like, I'm not denying it, that if like the idea worked, it worked. I'm just like, you know, I'm one to keep with humility and all that. I suppose because there are no Cuban games like this, and I just thought, you know, it should be time that people knew about this. That isn't something revolving around like voodoo, like or anything like that kind of like nature that it shows it so negatively. You know, like not a lot of people know like the difference of African culture. It's also mixed together with different parts of other places, and nobody can tell the difference. But it's like the night where I showed my dad all the art, and he got to be like a part of helping me design the characters for it. You know, because all of the characters designs that I did were all based on like Orisha performers that would dress up in the garbs of the gods to embody them or encapsulate their energy or essence. And it's I think there was just a lot of serious bonding that I actually got to ask him all these questions, and he felt like so touched that he got to like be the one that I went to, I guess, is like his, you know, an only child, but one who is like a second generation American Cuban, that because he's like, you know, from Havana, like, and he was like initiated into Orisha practice. But yeah, I just think that this story is important for him just as much as like for anybody from like the Caribbean, or anybody who practices this or who knows of this but who never has a chance or has never seen a chance to actually have a game or a narrative of, you know, Afro-Cubanism or, you know, Orishas or all that. And he's just, the night I showed him like our show, or he watched our showcase, and he was just so amazed that like there's a game about that, like they're making a game of that, like, oh my god, he was just so wowed by what we all created. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, well said. On a more like technical note for Rebecca, question: what does the gameplay of this game kind of look like, if you could describe it? And also, what was the toughest part, would you say, or the most interesting part?
Gameplay wise, it's kind of, it leans more heavily, I think, on like traditional stealth games, and that there's a lot of emphasis on hiding and like finding the right moment and timing it out between enemy movement patterns and like watching the movement patterns of the enemy. That being said, for me, the hardest part to develop was the enemy AI, and just like trying to get it to work with like maybe 3 states, but then also having it kind of being able to expand upon the states as we're developing. So yeah, it's a lot of, as Mari would say, beep-boop programming AI sort of stuff.
I mean, I may not fully understand it, but I was so impressed that you said that you like rewrote like the whole code in like a night. I'm just like, wow, I don't even think Rebecca was human at that point. It must be the gods like just fueling her to do it.
Am I a demigod? I don't know. Am I a demigod? Am I a wizard? Who's to say?
Maybe.
And you want to talk about the powers you use in this game? Should I throw it to Camilla?
Uh,
Do it.
uh,
Damn, say something. Do it.
I was like, should I? Okay, off the top of the dome, because I'm trying to recall. I know there's like at least 2, and I'm just like, what was their names again? But like, we do have a lightning ability, which was very fun to animate, if I do recall correctly. Where essentially, as a player, you have a certain amount of cowrie shells. Throughout the level, like you can get more, but like at most you can have 3 at a time, and you can use these cowrie shells to summon different gods and their abilities. One of them being the lightning ability that lets you strike down any colonizer that's in your way, and it also lets you light certain elements of like the level, such as like the brush that you hide in. It lets you light that on fire. So there's that, and then there's also the rain ability, which I believe is oh my god, I was like, I forgot the name of the god that you summoned.
Oshun's power?
Yeah, Soshun's power, where you can use the rain ability to take out the fire that you lit on like the vegetation earlier on.
I think the lightning power is Shango's power, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then lastly, I think throughout, oh my goodness, I'm gonna butcher this. Elehua?
Elewa?
Elehua.
Okay. Well, yeah, Elehua just provides guidance throughout the level in the form of when you happen upon one of his saint stones, you get to just get some guidance. He also provides tutorial information, but generally just helps you stay alive, and that's where you recharge your cowrie shells with divine power.
Yeah, it was hard to. It was a little bit more tricky to figure out how to design Elewa because he's usually, Cuban or Orisha lore that he's a trickster god. So he's like presented as like a small boy with like a huge straw hat, and who's represents of life and death and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And usually, it's both male and female performer can dance as them. But I don't know. I feel like for the direction of the story, they're for now portrayed as like an older man. It's for like the catalyst or guide of like the way. And ironically, like the same as the title Camino. Which kind of like I chose that title for what is it? It's sort of like wordplay where it's like walking beside the Orisha gods on your path, but Elegua is like both like old and young, so maybe later in the game he may be presented as a child, a more non-threatening figure for the main character. But yeah, I just thought he was a very perfect candidate in that regard of like story or narrative wise. Oh boy, I forgot how fans work.
Yeah, I like the idea. I remember we were playing with the idea initially in development of trying to figure out what on earth his power was. Like, I think at one point we were just like, maybe just when you respawn, he's the one who's like, here, you get to go again, kind of a vibe. Or I remember it being a hack and slash at one point. Lots of different iterations it's gone through. Yeah.
Like a hack and slash, and then it was like an infinite runner at some point. It went through a lot of different genres, I think.
We went through a lot of like figuring out what the game was truly going to be. I know Raymond was just really on board with yeah, let's fight
hack and slash.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he really was. Like if he's like, let's do this.
But like think about like you only this kid is like 50 pounds? Are they gonna bring down anybody?
Small kid, big knife.
Oh boy.
Well,
That thing is actually like unbreakable when you think about it. Use that, out in the field.
I think at one point we were like, with the hack and slash idea, we were like, do we want to just fully turn this kid into like Arya Stark or something, or do we just want to, or what are we doing here?
Oh boy. I've not drawn in 3 months, and my hand is just struggling to cooperate with me. No, that's the wrong one.
Looks great though.
Thank you. They're designing a samurai game, but that's not relevant to this situation.
Oh my god, I was just saying. Oh yeah, kind of relating to like the last thing we just talked about. Like other than like Raymond, obviously, like who else would you say was like a great deal of help on the game? Like it could be like other people in the program or like even mentors specifically. Because like I know I have my mentor who I was like, thank you.
I think I know who it is.
We all know who it is.
Yeah. Diego, shout outs, Diego. Love you, King.
I'll fight all those bullies for him for free. Honestly, like, I think I asked Damon to give me a narrative mentor, which is Juan, who was like amazing because he steered me a lot in the direction of how to gear narrative for a game, and more to like presenting the narrative as like in the beginning with cutscenes and learning how to end things off with like cutscenes, which I've never done before, or even like tried to do narrative design, but I found that I really liked it. Yeah, he was just such a big help of like with like the flow of things, and also really getting a message across visually that we have no dialogue or words besides like the guardian stones in the level telling you what's happening and where to go, and really utilizing how to communicate visually with the player in that regard was just such a very important lesson of that summer. But honestly, like, I jumped in feet first and did my best to swim, and it turned out, hey, we did great. We did great with the story, yay. I don't know. I just think working with Juan was just such a great experience, because he's also like, his background is also mixed, and I guess on that another deeper level, we both could relate to one another in that sense too, coming from two different cultures. It was really just a nice way to bond and really get to know him. Oh, good lord. Sorry.
Yeah, I think for me, a big help on this project was my program mentor, Rachel. Working with her is actually how I was able to figure out what this AI was going to do. And that's because the AI that's in the game works off of one integer variable that's just set to different values for each of the states. And she sat down and helped me figure that out and like how it would work. And that ended up saving a lot of time and stress for me. So yeah.
Yeah, I got a lot of help too from like, say, one of my mentors, Joey Vergara. He was like game design, gave me a lot of help just figuring out like the more technical issues of it, because I could make it like look reasonable on paper, but then he'd be like, okay, but these controls make no sense, for instance. So I would like bring in another one of his friends from school to then talk to me about like, how might this like be improved, or how might you better plan ahead to make sure that the whole thing feels cohesive.
I was really impressed by all the designing that happened on your end, honestly.
Thank you. Very flattered.
Like I know it's major, but like sheesh. Came up with the whole like storyboard and like this is how it's gonna go, and I'm like, oh my god, Bay's like doing half the work already. Sheesh. I know how to come up with more things like artistically now. And, like, do some of the UI and like sync up with you. Like honestly, that part of like the summer of learning of just syncing up with everybody was just astounding. Like especially with Cam and how like we managed to like what is it? Like I don't really have an art style. Like I'm pretty yeah, and it's just like just that. I don't know if it was just by luck that we both managed to like produce something that like made both of what is it? We were just like taking pieces of individual art, I guess, you know, not assets, but you know, taking bits of our pieces of the picture and meshing them all together to create something that looked the same, you know, in the same style.
Yeah.
Like I mean, it sounds like it doesn't sound like all that hard when you say it, but like actually doing it was like at first I was like, oh, this is kind of daunting. I'm like, I don't know about this, but like it just somehow worked out, honestly, like by pure luck.
I remember being so worried when I was like, oh goodness, we have 10 weeks to do this, and like we're gonna have like a massive art blockage for every new feature we create unless we like think of something quick. And then y'all just ran with it. I remember, I think it was like an idea that I was like, how about some of you do the, what is it, this just the skeletons of the keyframes for each of these, and someone does the art over it, and then I don't know, it like worked out perfectly.
I mean, a little bit of it was just me kind of going, having bouts of madness and just like completing my sprint of like the whole week in 24 hours because
Yeah.
I just felt so driven and just like hungry with like, I want to see this in the game. Like, I want to see how it like it operates and all that. And I was just like, I think a lot of it was just like pure excitement because I was just absolutely just, oh, damn it. Thrown into what I was doing and actually like enjoying it. I'm like, yeah, I'm built for this. Like I know how to do this. I'm like a seasoned veteran. Yeah. I enjoy making games. Nothing else I want to do. At least making art for games. I leave the rest of that to Rebecca, who knows how to make it work. I just make it look pretty.
Yeah, going back to that, it's like that just you being able to just like speed through all the sprints is what I think when I think inhuman. Like
Yeah.
I'm human. You might be the demigod.
Honestly, like
You might be the demigod wizard, not me.
like I don't work particularly slow, but Marisa just like works at like hyperdrive. Like it was crazy.
She's like an Energizer bunny.
You want to see
Like
some
what?
speed?
Sonic.
No.
Like, God, I'm in a BCC and I'm in a level design class as well, and I didn't get to fully do like I'm learning Unreal Engine. I managed to learn the basics in like 3 hours, which is probably also shocking you guys, but I have managed to not fully do like a full level and create it, but what I am doing is doing 2D assets and art and other like minor animations for 3 other teams because I ran out of work of just mine. And so even the TA was like, do you still need more work to do? And I go, yes. It's like, what? You seem to be completing your sprints in like 2 days. Like, what's going on? That's like, oh, you know, I'm just here at home. So that's all, you know.
Damn.
Like, I
A
want
goddamn powerhouse.
I just want to make sure that good. So now I'm now outsourced to all 3 teams in that class, and I still finish the work too fast, so I still get plenty of time on my hands just to do other art and commissions and all that. Oh boy.
You're just
no.
like an art mercenary or something.
Art
Like,
Is that what you're gonna
Jeez
call it?
Louise.
Oh boy, art mercenary. I haven't heard that before. Oh no, she needs it. No, don't take that away. Hey. I'm sorry, it's fighting me a little bit. Let's see here. Oh boy. I know it's looking pretty shaky, but like, it's a lot like, carving marble. You know, you gotta like have the rough shapes first before you get any detail. This is the process what I do because I have catered the art style to look a little bit like, or more than a little bit like guacamole. Mm-hmm. I still need to finish that game, guys. I really like it.
I wanted to ask y'all about what's y'all's favorite team memory we had.
Besides making memes?
What? What'd
Yeah.
you say?
Besides making like memes every week.
yes.
Looking like
Memes and then just like putting the memes everywhere within our presentations.
Mm-hmm.
We should high key pull one of those slides up.
Let's see. But yeah, like at Gameheads we have like weekly sprint presentations on Saturdays, and on ours we would always include the team meme of the week, essentially.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember because I had my birthday while we were developing the game, and I just wake up on my birthday to several memes from Bay that just pertaining to the game and like everything else, and I'm just like, I feel so loved. No one's ever made me memes for my birthday.
Love you, Rebecca.
Love you.
great.
Aw.
Like the priceless gift that anybody could want.
I remember us watching oh my goodness, quite a few choice movies. But
Oh my God.
okay, the Cheetah Girls, fantastic, great,
Yes.
amazing. At some point, as a side note, yeah, we like all picked characters from the Cheetah Girls as
we
our
had
icons.
matching Cheetah Girls icons on Discord for a good portion of the summer.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
In
Right.
fact, I am still Dorinda and Bay is still Toto.
Might never change, you know?
Yeah.
But
I
yeah,
remember
team movie nights were amazing. I love those.
I'm still
Go ahead,
waiting.
Bay.
I'm still waiting
No.
to watch Vampire Jesus with you guys.
Yes! And the
Wow.
llamas.
Vampire Jesus and the Llamas? Was I there?
No, that's
What's
two
this?
different movies.
Okay.
One's Vampire Jesus, the other is like a llama apocalypse.
Oh, that movie. Yeah, I forgot.
Yeah. What were you gonna say, Bay?
Oh, it was just along the lines of, yeah, movie nights are great. I remember watching Twilight and laughing at the Chad vampire, and watching Shrek.
Oh God.
Oh, that's right. We did watch Shrek.
Oh, okay.
Show stopping, wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy. How would you not find the jokes in Shrek funny? Are they still making Shrek movies?
I wouldn't doubt it. I'm pretty sure they are.
I think they're rebooting it.
Oh my gosh.
Or at least that
No.
was the last bit of news.
Oh, please let it die in the chances.
Not to bring us back. I guess I should be bringing us back anyways, but has anyone gone into detail on the actual narrative of the game yet? Like, have we mentioned the main character's name?
Oh, you're right. We have not.
Yeah. What is the plot?
Big chaos energy from this group.
Just quarantine and online school has absolutely nuked my critical thinking skills. Yes. I won't lie. Oh, lady, your eyebrows.
So what's the plot?
Should I do it?
You can do it because
Oh, there you go.
I can't.
That's
No.
good.
Mari doesn't have enough brain cells.
I'll leave you to the eyebrows. So from what I remember, Toye comes back from a day of working on the sugarcane fields, and arrives to a scene back at home of their mom being sold off to some other plantation. And as she's being carted off, Toye runs up to the cart, and the last scene we see of them with their mom is them reaching out for the cowrie shell bracelet on their mom's wrist, and then it breaking as they're pulled away. And then as the story moves on to, you see Toye see the cowrie shells on the ground, absolutely despondent, but they're realizing that they can follow this as a trail. And as they follow it, it leads them to seeing a shrine stone dedicated to Elehua, and there's next to it is a mocha.
Yeah.
Yes.
Saying that right? Yeah, mocha, which is like a pretty sizable, as Mari said earlier, like indestructible kind of blade. So thus armed with this mocha, and these newly blessed cowrie shells from their mom, and imbued with the power of the Orishas, sets out through the fields to get back their mom. So you can see that in the footage here a little bit, where they're going through the fields, hiding in the sugarcane, and basically kind of weaponizing the smugness of the people chasing them, of the Spaniards chasing them against them, and taking them out one by one. So you see a colonizer getting zapped there. And as you progress through the game, eventually you come across your mom's scarf near the end of the path, and as you walk towards it, you find yourself suddenly cutting to a cutscene where you're on the beach. There's a shadow looming over you as you bend down to pick the scarf, and you look up, and above you is... Are we supposed to expose this? Is this a spoiler? Mari, how do you feel that your narrative designer?
Now.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's been playing
Okay.
through most of the stream.
Yeah,
no, I mean the ending is in there, right?
yeah, it's a
Yeah.
full play.
Okay, cool. So you see footsteps going down into the water, and out of the water is rising Yemaya, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. Another Orisha. So the ending is purposefully left ambiguous. And I remember one of our inspirations was definitely the theme of like how water comes up a lot in like Afro-Surrealist works. So I think that's some symbolism we drew upon. And we also, just
You know,
wanted
like-
to imply that there was, more to the story.
A cliffhanger of sorts.
Yeah. I think that ending comic is probably my favorite thing in the entire game, just because the way Yamea looks is just amazing. Like, I love it.
As my dad would say, like all life comes from, the water, the mother goddess. He very much has a lot of adoration and love for the ocean. He also has a good, healthy amount of fear of it.
Agreed.
He came to America, or at least, he did the thing where he, with other Luvanos took a small boat, I think, towards the Keys, but it almost sank, and he was almost drowned by like all the panicking people around him. And it was just, I think that absolutely just left an imprinting, you know, emotional effect or even trauma with him. And I mean, he doesn't have a fear of the water now, as an adult. He is a very good swimmer, of course, but you know, he just is very significant key in his life that he would grow up telling me, I believe. Well, yeah. And that emotion of like, you know, being helpless without his parent, he took that journey by himself at 16 as a very scrawny boy. And you know, I just wanted to encapsulate that feeling of not having parents to defend you or be around to help you, and as well as like being at the mercy of nature itself, you know, and it's essentially to keep those around you. I just thought that was a very powerful feeling that I wanted to kind of ingrain into the narrative and feel or atmosphere of the game itself. Yeah. I'm very much like what do you call it, as Damon would say, a blue, you know, and a person who's leans more towards feeling than of logic, you know, well, duh, because I'm an artist, but you know, it's just, I do things that are more of feeling rather than, you know, what maybe like what reason is when it comes to some art pieces, or at least, you know, in terms of being driven in the narrative sense. If that makes any sense. Sorry. Oh, this is not the right one. Whatever. I honestly had a lot of fun designing the cast of characters and antagonists, even though there's like one conquista Spaniard. They all look very generic, but it's just it's just the shape language was just really fun to do with this, considering that all the references for the dancer costumes, there's just like so many of them and so much varieties, like because there's a lot of like widespread Pan-Afro culture. I think it's all like fantastic, and I love seeing all the varieties, and it's like I want to use all of them, but unfortunately we have to keep the scope small and just sticking to what we know, essentially, or at least what I know in that regard. So it was like a variation of names or style, or just, you know, referring to things. Oh, I'm silly, this was the one there. Ah. Okay. Yeah, with the fanboy.
What are y'all's next ambitions for the game? Or for other games potentially in the works?
Well, there was an idea about I think Rebecca knows where I'm going with this because I can see her face.
I know what you're. I think I know what you're about to say. Say it. Do it.
Please say it.
Do it.
A game about being a barista and just, you know, working less than $13 as a barista and getting, you know, living a life of high stress environment, even though it's just coffee. We have this idea in the works, at least I kind of like was also stewing about that, and it's just about being at the mercy of Karens while being a barista and just living that type of hell, because I actually lived it and I will never go back to that job. Won't say what company, but you know, the coffee doesn't taste, it always tastes burnt, is what I'll just say. Take a cool on that one.
You're not wrong about that part, though.
Maybe my connection's off because, like, I thought you were gonna say another thing. One of the ideas that was on the board when we were discussing originally. It kind of ties into the original one.
Yeah, I thought you were gonna talk about the Killer Karen.
Yeah,
That.
maybe that title in the works or something, but you know. But yeah, Killer Karen, you know, you have to deal with Karens, and oh boy, that game, oh, imagine if we did it while in quarantine.
God.
Oh wait, is your version of it? Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Oh, I'm saying that I would love to get an angry Karen message on the bottom of that game. Just love it. Just eat it up. Eat it up like cereal. My goodness, like it fuels me. Also, like a game about like Karens and dealing with customers asking stupid questions like, "Is this bagel vegetarian?" No, sir. It has bacon in it. It's all meat.
Is this apple gluten free?
Does this water have any carbs?
Y'all. But yeah, for this, what was y'all's idea of Killer Karen? Because I definitely was like, it's a Killer Karen murder mystery, and I don't remember.
I was thinking that.
Right? And I don't remember if the Karens were the ones who had like died, and then you had to figure out who killed them, or it was like.
Knowing us, it would be reverse. It would not be that.
I feel like it was the other way around. Yeah, it was like murders were happening around town, and then you have to get to the bottom of like which Karen is not only the Karen but the Killer Karen.
Oh, the mystery.
It's like usual suspects lineup of Karens, and you have to like figure it out.
I mean, you can still tie it into like you still work like a shitty job, you know.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Maybe
Yeah.
that's the main character. Yeah.
And then it's like that's how she can like track you because she follows you home from the shitty job.
Oh.
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 That got darker very quick.
Another
Yep.
horror game.
I am
Interesting.
I'm very particular with horror games because it's not like, oh, scary monster. I know I'm playing a horror game. It's not gonna scare me. Like what I like is like never like the unpredictability of people. Like that's scary. Like I want
Like
Well-
psychological horror rather than like monster.
yeah, like an actual real
Or-
life thing that scares you, which is like you know people at times. Oh gosh, I'm struggling. There you go.
So like PT over like 9 foot tall vampire lady.
As much as we all adore her,
We do.
Y'all hear me out.
please.
So I know
Yes.
PT exists, but what if our game was PTA?
No.
Why,
PTSA?
Faye?
You insult, and you
It's
insult
a PTA PSA.
one too many times, and then she just snaps. My kids listen to Kids Bop.
Oh no.
Oh no.
People are the real monsters.
There you go.
Said in chat.
People,
Somebody said that in chat.
people who abuse retail workers are real monsters, and I'd love to do something about that because I have so much salt and spite about that life.
That is why you're a salt and snails.
That is my Twitter handle, Salt and Snails. And I do also have a snail, but he's currently sleeping. He just ate like a ton of carrot.
Aw.
He's a very happy boy. I got him a new rockers, I think. I just like snails just because, if anybody's wondering. I just think they're neat. That's all. No reason. Also, like, they don't have teeth, so I'm not worried about them biting me.
I just think they're neat.
Yeah.
I also heard it immediately as the meme. I see you.
Wait, where's my face? There it is. Don't answer that, Rebecca.
What? Huh? What?
I said, where's my face? And I was like waiting for a sarcastic reply from you.
Oh.
Bones. Ooh,
Teeth? Eyes?
teeth and eyes. Yeah. Oh, boy.
Well, just like I don't know. It's probably on layer one. Oh, you didn't even name your layers. You just said Marissa.
What? Like, leave me alone. I'm vibing. Let me be. Let me do my art thing here, right? Like I don't get confused, but sometimes I do. But you know, just let me. I'll figure it out eventually. I mean, I eventually name them all, but it's like I'm very much in the moment here. Thank goodness this is like nothing super detailed. Like I didn't just go ham. It's like highly detailed artwork, but it's like, okay, get the animated now. It's like, oh God. Keep it flat and keep it 2D for now. Yeah. Oh no. I won't move it over.
Yeah. For now. Oh my god. How much would someone have to pay you to like make this game in 3D, Marissa?
Oh no.
Oh God.
What do you mean?
Oh no.
To make it like look pretty or to make it actually function? That's a real question.
Now we're over aesthetics at this point.
Sorry. What's going on here? Hello. There we go. Ah. Oh, okay, we go. I don't know if you want it to look pretty and just like as like a frozen, like kind of like screenshot scene. A lot of monies, essentially. Because I have the capability to do 3D, but it's like sheesh, it takes a long time and not unable to do in the months that we have for game heads. You gotta give me like a year, I believe, because I'm still learning everything in 3D Engine and only can do like pretty buildings in Blender. That's it.
True. The game head summer is a quick turnaround. You like sneeze and then suddenly it's week 8.
Yep. But like the first 2 weeks always for me go by kind of slow or at like a normal-ish pace, and then it's just August.
That's true. Yeah.
It feels like it takes the longest.
Yeah. You like spend like 2 weeks just being like, is this a good idea? What is our idea? Unclear. What's my own name?
Or it's like, do I want to work with this group of people or not?
It's true. That was settled pretty quick for this group, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My goodness, it's oof. Finding a good team is like, or at least finding a team that you can feel unified with is always tricky. And thank goodness, like I vibe so well with, with Rebecca.
You slid in my DMs to be on a team with me. Let's not forget.
Ready. Listen, lady, like I was ready. Like I was just be like, please, you want artists? You want good art? Make pretty? You want assets? I can do good. Yes. Please adopt me. I was a ruined artist before I was taken in by you and Angie and Veronica.
I'd rate that like top 10 cover letters. Pretty good.
Yes, I make it good, yes. Very nice.
What is happening?
No, but I'm losing my marbles a little bit because it's been a very long day for me.
Did you just like become like Borat for a second?
No, shush, don't say that.
I think she did.
No, don't say that.
Very nice.
Oh God, no!
You became Borat for a second.
Borat, to be honest. I might just do the thing here. Oh, I should have mirrored, but I didn't do the mirror thing.
Here's another slightly game relevant question to attempt to maintain some semblance of like, this is not just a meeting between ourselves, as it usually is.
I thought Zorn would be asking us like just way more questions, like with the showcase.
I think we only have a couple minutes left, like 5 minutes.
Yeah, we do.
Oh,
I can't see anything, so you're gonna have to be my eyes.
It's okay. Keep vibing. Keep vibing.
Yeah, we have 5 minutes left, so it's like kind of wrap it up soon.
you're doing amazing. Oh yeah. Wait, does someone else want to ask a question? I know I've come up with a lot. Feel free.
Good. Go. Do your thing.
Cool.
Go, Bay, go.
Yeah, the question was, what kind of like advantages or differences have you noticed from working on like a mostly, like a all femmes of color team? What's that been like?
Bay, don't get me started.
Is that too much for 5 minutes?
I'll keep it brief. Yeah, we have 5 minutes left. So like this project that I worked on Camino. This was my second project within Gameheads, and my first year was a lot different. We'll say that. Team dynamic was just not a vibe, to say the least. Which, like, if your team dynamic is not on point, or like if you guys just aren't able to like work together to a certain degree, like the game itself is just not gonna be good. So team dynamic is garbage, game is probably gonna be garbage, and
I mean, like,
I was not on it.
Reflection. It's kind of like a reflection of it.
Yeah, very much so. So I'm not gonna blame the people, because like a lot of us were like young high school students or like freshly out of high school, but like we were all very immature, and we like didn't know what we wanted to do.
Yeah, I think for me, working in teams like this, it's a lot more relaxing in a way, or it's a lot more I guess secure might be the right word, in that like I know I can count on them, and I know that I know I can count on them, and I have a like good dynamic with them, and like there are people that I would hang out with outside of making the game. Like we just spent like 20 minutes talking how we would not even talking about the game. So yeah.
Like that's so important for like team, like just bonding as people, because it's like, well, if you don't have anything in common in the regard of like, sorry, of my mom was opening a window. If there's like just no coexistence feeling, or anything in common outside of just working on the game, then you're just gonna have a superficial or very surface level relationship with your other teammates. And me, I'm very much, I don't know, there's a phrase that my friend calls me, my minor is in anthropology, which is also, I did the whole cultural research for our team's game, is that I'm a very empathetic anthropologist major. So it's just, to me, bonding with the other humans, and they say that they're humans, but it's
Jury's still out.
It's just that part is very much a key factor for me, because it's like, if I don't bond with you, and it's like I feel like I can't get like a unified feeling of the team, then I'm not gonna have as much as a productive feeling among the group, essentially.
Hey, what about you?
I definitely appreciate that I never felt like I had to. Well, part of it was that we all had like our own individual strengths, and that like meshed super well. But also, I never felt as though I had to like prove myself in a particular manner to any of y'all, or feel as though I had to embellish something to kind of like feel like I had a place on the team, or I didn't have like concepts I already knew explained back to me. It was kind of, everyone was like, okay, yeah, you know your stuff, I'm gonna defer to your judgment, like fascinated to hear what's going on in the art section or the narrative section or the programming section, but I'm not gonna like try and tell you how to do your job past like us trying to do it super collaboratively. So I really liked our meetings too, because it was never like a your idea versus my idea. It was always a love that idea, show-stopping, wonderful, glorious. What if we also did this, or maybe we like changed it to this in some way? But yeah.
And I think with that, it's about time for us to sign off, I believe. So, bye everyone. Thanks for listening. I guess watching, listening, sure.
Bye.
Adios.
Bye.
Little do Peter